Palm Beach Police Department told us that 12 people have been shot at 2 different shooting locations and that 1 person is dead. One of the shooting locations I'm currently at is at the Sahara Shrine Center, and at the door you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet holes. But it didn't stop there. That's right, Janelle. Earlier today, these steps were full of people protesting peacefully because of the frustration and upset and anxiety that they have after the death of George Floyd. For the past few days, officials at COVIDcom tell me ICU beds are so limited that COVID patients are now on a waiting list just to get transferred. Michael Murray with Baptist Health Medical Center here in Conway says through social media, he hopes to change that fear of the vaccine in the African American community. We're here in downtown Little Rock by 4th and Main Street. What we are seeing is, if you're driving down here in Little Rock, nothing but snow, piles of snow. You know, knowing that you play for both programs, talk about how special it is for these players today.
Man, it's real special because this is a moment in history that we have both Arkansas teams playing against each other. This was a game I wish I could have played back when I was playing, but I mean, fortunate enough the guys have it right now.
The state's first COVID-19 patient, James Black, says he's just thankful to be here because it's been a challenging year. Just 1 year ago, James Black entered the doors of Jefferson Regional Medical Center, not knowing he would be the state's first patient with COVID-19.
You look at TV every day, and you see people, they don't make it.
Black says the hospital video tribute filled him with a lot of emotions.
It brings back a lot of memories, man. A lot of feelings, inside. Kind of almost had me kind of shared a little tear a little bit, It's been a rough road.
On Thursday, many hospital staff members and even Governor Hutchinson recognized Black for his courage.
Thanks for being here and being just by your living example, sharing a story of this last year. It means a lot to the people of Arkansas that you're willing to be here and commemorate this day.
According to Black, it took him 3.5 months to recover from the virus, but he is still experiencing complications.
Things you used to do, you can't do no more. I still have little problems, still get tired kind of fast. I have problems with breathing sometimes, but, I just take day for granted, because it can happen to anybody.
Black says there were days he didn't think he would make it, much less be released from the hospital. He says his family, especially his wife, kept him motivated.
When I came home, they did a lot for me. It was a very special day. The day they told me I was getting out, I didn't get out, and it kind of upset me, but, it kind of upset her too. But it was a great feeling when I came home.
Black says he urges everyone to take this virus serious and to follow the proper health guidelines because what happened to him can happen to anyone. Kenesha Jones says her daughter, Kamari, has been fighting for her life here at Arkansas Children's Hospital since August, and now she's finally home.
I know, sweet pea.
For the first time in 3 months, Kenesha Jones can hold her 1-year-old daughter, Kamari Jones, outside of a hospital room. Kenesha says the community's support helped her in her time of need.
I can't thank the people of Conway enough for the money they sent, for the prayers they sent for my little girl. I cannot thank no one enough for the support they've given me to allow me to be at the hospital the whole 92 days.
Kenesha says on August 11th, she left her daughter with her then boyfriend Kane White while she picked up a friend from work. When she came back, White said Kamari fell off the bed and was not breathing correctly. Kenesha says the medical staff at Children's Hospital found bruises on Kamari's back, ears, and found lacerations on her liver. According to the Faulkner County Jail records, White was booked and charged on first-degree domestic battery. Kenesha says this is the first time her other 2 children can spend time with their sister, a journey she wasn't sure would end on a happy note.
I definitely look at her like she's a warrior because there's not many adults that can bounce back from this, and I definitely don't think I could have.
Kenesha says Kamari still has difficulty with her vision, but she hopes things will get better during her physical therapy. Imagine raising your child, watching them go to college, and in their last semester, get the phone call that they were shot and killed. This is the mindset of Elizabeth Jones as she accepted her late son's honorary diploma.
We present this honorary Bachelor of Science degree to his family.
It's a moment Elizabeth Jones says she's been waiting for since her son, Kentarius Scott, went to college at Philander Smith College. But unfortunately, he was shot and killed at Twin Peaks restaurant last August from a minor disagreement with someone he didn't know.
It's bittersweet, bittersweet, extremely hard to know that we're celebrating someone who's not here.
Jones says her son was only 25 years old, and she had been looking forward to watching him walk across the stage. But despite his absence, she felt he was still there as she accepted his honorary degree.
It took me back to when I received my degree, and to know that he couldn't physically touch it, but I felt him the moment that I held it in my hand, as if he was there holding it with me.
And while it's Mother's Day weekend, Jones says these past 8 months without her son has been a numbing experience.
Although I have 2 other children, but he's the missing link. So it's going to be very difficult.
But she knows with his memory through family, friends, and with his diploma, will live on forever.
Very kind, very sweet soul, very mannerable, intelligent, and just one of a kind.
Jones says last year, Kentarius cooked a steak dinner for her and that this would be the first Mother's Day weekend without her son. Because of the actions of Richard Barnett, the mayor of Gravette tells me the country now has its eyes set on their city. In a city filled with 3,600 people, one man now stands out in the national spotlight, Richard Barnett, in a way that Gravette Mayor Kurt Maddox says does not fully represent the people who live here.
You always want your city to get publicity. This is not the kind of publicity you hope for, but you know, we work with what comes our way, and we deal with it with the best we can.
Barnett is the man who sat in Nancy Pelosi's office during the riot at Capitol Hill on Wednesday. He's seen with his feet propped up and a letter that he's accused of taking and leaving a quarter in Pelosi's office. Maddox says shortly after Barnett was identified, they received death threats from across the country. He says on Thursday, some businesses are on lockdown unless customers have made an appointment. Joey Cannon with Can Do Hardware says he's seen Barnett around the city, but he doesn't know him that well. Cannon says he's just as shocked as everyone else to see one of their own on TV.
But I didn't really know very much about him, you know, but I thought, oh, well, that's kind of weird that came from Gravette, you know, here in the area. It's weird if something comes from Arkansas, let alone Gravette.
Maddox says the people of Gravette are not one and the same as Barnett.
I do want people to know that the people of Gravette are really salt of the earth, good family-oriented people, and just like most areas in the country. And we don't want the fringe to be anything that defines who we are.
Maddox says they do have a safety plan in place for both residents and businesses. Tina and Anna are 2 women on the front lines of the virus in New York, but if you look closer, they share a resemblance. That's because they are mother and daughter. For the past 3 weeks, nurse practitioner Uchenna Anya Murphy has been working tirelessly at Elmhurst Hospital in Queens, not knowing what the next shift will bring.
Every day you go into work, you don't know if you're going to come out okay. You don't know if you're going to have COVID and survive it.
But what Murphy does know is she's not in New York alone. Her 23-year-old daughter, Anna Onya, is a registered nurse who recently graduated from UAMS School of Nursing in 2018. Came with her mother and says her experience with the virus has been overwhelming.
I feel like I've seen more deaths in my 21 nights than I've ever seen in my entire nursing career.
Onya is working in the intensive care unit at Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx. She says her mother still manages to find a way to support her. For that, she's thankful.
The other day, my mom hand washed my scrubs because I was so tired that I didn't want to go to the laundromat, and she came into my room and hand washed my scrubs for me.
For Murphy, watching her daughter come into her own has been rewarding, but says she is still concerned about their well-being.
I'm thinking, am I going to survive this? Am I going to go down with my daughter? At the same time, it's like, woo, we've made history. We did it together, girl.
Anya says fortunately, both she and her mother are staying in the same hotel, but they are practicing social distancing by staying in separate rooms.